Sam Gelfand is 14 years old and has been speaking publicly about Asperger's awareness for 2 years. What started out as his Tikkun Olam project for his bar mitzvah quickly evolved into a multi-state tour where he speaks to faculties, students, religious, and community organizations. He recently began speaking on behalf of Autism Speaks at their Walk Now for Autism events. Sam was diagnosed as on the autism spectrum when he was 3 years old. Since then, he's completed many therapies and programs to make his diagnosis as transparent as possible. He's a strong advocate of anti-bullying policies and laws, as well as encouraging tolerance, friendship, and patience. Sam is a steward at North Broward Preparatory School in Florida and is a member of the student legislature and the debate team. He enjoys drawing concept cars, history, playing the drums, and baseball. These days, he much prefers hanging out with his friends to schoolwork, although he still entertains everyone with his fact of the day. His goal is to help spread Asperger's awareness, appearing on TV talk shows and attending MIT to study industrial design. Please welcome Sam.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, just before I begin, I just want to clear up on the program. It said that I was from a synagogue in something like Long Island. I actually live in Florida. And, just wanted to, so no one was confused. Hey, Rabbi. Hi. I'm Sam. I'm here today to talk to you about loud, clumsy, inflexible, and often inappropriate people who have a hard time socializing. Good morning. That's me. I have a not very well-known condition called Asperger's syndrome. For over 2 years, I've been giving speeches about what it's like to have Asperger's. Some of you have read about it, and some of you may know someone who has it, but my purpose here is to tell you firsthand what it's actually like to live with it. I was first diagnosed as on the spectrum when I was 3 years old. Since then, I've been diagnosed with many other conditions as well, including ADD, OCD, Tourette's, sensory and integration disorder, and dyspraxia. Being somewhat of an overachiever, I also have a sleeping disorder. When I was 9, I was officially diagnosed with Asperger's. When my mom asked the doctor what we should do, he told us that there was nothing we could do. I am here to tell you that there is a lot that you can do. And as educators and students, you can do more than anyone else. As Leo Beck once wisely said, each generation, by choosing its way, its present way, at the same time chooses an essential part of the future, the way of its children. The responsibility to those who follow after us is included in the responsibility to ourselves. The way of the children, whether accepting or rejecting the direction, emanates from our way. He may have been talking about teaching children about Judaism, but it also reminds us that children model their behavior after what they see their parents doing and saying. First of all, Asperger's is not a disease. It's a condition, also known as high-functioning autism. Autism is a spectrum disorder. That means that at one end, there are people like me, and at the other end, there are people who are very severely compromised. They do not talk or communicate, well and require lifelong supervision. Asperger's is sometimes called little professor syndrome because at our end of the spectrum, we like to talk. A lot. And since we usually have a pretty high intellect, we sound like, well, little professors. Not that there's anything wrong with teachers. People with Asperger's mostly have difficulty socializing with kids their own age. We interrupt a lot. We're not very empathetic. We're pretty clumsy, and we tend to stutter. We're also sensitive to loud noises, food, and our product textures and odors. We have trouble controlling the volume of our voice, and take things very literally. So if we hear an idiom like there's a frog in my throat, we're dangling a worm down there trying to get a look at it. One of the biggest telltale signs is our obsession with one particular topic and no interest in anything else. Until I was about 6, I was obsessed with the color blue. I would only wear blue clothes, and I had a blue bedroom. If you gave me an entire 72-pack box of crayons, I would say, "Thank you," and take the 3 shades of blue only. For about 8 years, I was hyper-focused on baseball, talking about it until the cows came home, and centering my life around it. I knew every fact about the National, American, and Women's Leagues. The only thing I didn't know was that not everyone is interested in hearing all these facts. And when you're a Mets fan, no one wants to listen. Currently, I am completely into cars, and I have 7 monthly magazine subscriptions. I've also been known to sit in a dealership and draw the floor models. I can name the price, specifications, and details on just about every German car out there. And Italian, and American, and you get the point. And really, you can talk to me about your purchase options after the speech if you'd like. You may be asking yourself, why is this important? Well, if you want to get a good deal. No, but seriously, at last count, 900,000 people in the United States have Asperger's. It's thought that now, in the United States, 1 out of every 110 children has autism. It affects 1 out of every 70 boys. No one knows for sure how many people actually have Asperger's, as it's often over or underdiagnosed. One day, for fun, I decided to go on wikianswers.com and search Asperger's syndrome, and I saw that most people had some crazy misconceptions about us Aspies. I suddenly realized that we were a very misunderstood group. Schools, we are. No, we're not all gay, we eat a variety of foods, and liking pigs does not necessarily make you an Aspie, but thanks for asking. But wait, think about it for a moment. No Jew could ever be accused of being autistic. Think about it. You thought about it, good. Thankfully, my mom suspected something when I was a baby. Through the years, she took me to many, many specialists in an effort to tackle every issue as it arose. I've gone through many therapies and tried different medications and combinations of medications. My goal is to make my diagnosis nearly invisible, so I not only behave more typical, but I feel closer to typical. I'm nowhere near done. Sometimes that meant I couldn't do other things I wanted to do after school, but the truth is, it's all helped. Do you know how much work it's taken to act like you people? I went to play therapy to teach me how to properly interact with other kids, and handwriting therapy so my teachers could read my work and then give me A's. I've done occupational therapy, behavior therapy, participated in 2 groups, and completed the listening program. I went through desensitization therapy because I was very sensitive to the point of screaming when I felt toothpaste, shampoo, or lotion. Try living in Florida and being afraid of sunscreen. And worse, try being a teenager and having to deal with zinc cream. And I won't even go into my phobia about dirt, mud, and garbage. It used to get me out of certain chores, like taking out the trash, but now they got me gloves. For 2 years, I worked with a gymnastics coach weekly to work on my balance, coordination, and stamina. It occurred to me that tripping in the grass while running at top speed, 2 miles an hour, was not helping my social status. Facebook has been very great because it helps me keep in touch with my friends and family when I'm overwhelmed by socializing in person. Skype and iChat have also been great, so I can study with my friends and work on my skills at the same time. When I was younger, I was often socially awkward. I didn't know how to have a give-and-take conversation, and often wound up lecturing more than conversing. This does not make you popular. I was more comfortable around adults rather than children, because even though the other kids liked me, they didn't quite get me. Fortunately, this made me an easy target for bullies. Kids, as you probably know, are not good at accepting other kids who are different. Instead of taking the time to understand me or get to know me, they would pick on me. It was easy to pick on me because I wasn't good at sports and my takes were loud and noticeable, so I was known as the quirky kid, or weirdo. Sometimes I have several tics going on at one time. I do notice it, and I know it drives other people crazy, but I really can't help it. They definitely get worse when I'm under stress, but other times, they're hardly noticeable. Some of my tics include rhythmically stretching my arms like this, or pulling my shirt like this, clearing my throat over and over, making noises. Sometimes I will hum a song, rhythm, or beat over and over again, or raise my eyebrows and push my glasses back. These tics keep me very busy, but they also... This thing can't stay up. But they also practically screamed, "Bully me!" to people, which of course they did. Speaking of those bullies, we all know them, those kids who taunt and tease you when no one's looking. We really need to help them make better choices. Anyone can be a bully or a friend to us. It's just a choice. But without awareness, they feel it's the only choice. I was shoved against lockers and walls. One kid picked on everything I did and made fun of me in front of everyone. The kids who were becoming my friends abandoned me because they were afraid of him. At Little League, the same kid took an aluminum baseball bat to my shins. At lunch, some kids threw peanuts at my food, knowing full well that I am deathly allergic. In middle school, the teachers turned their backs on the situation. Although my guidance counselor was privately sympathetic, the school did nothing to protect or help me. And trust me, my mom was all over them about that. You know, once the kids know that they can get away with their behavior, they won't change it. The tics and teasing were nothing compared to the mental state that accompanied them. The constant bullying sometimes made me think I was a loser, and it brought a lot of tears and stress. I went from being the kid who loved school to the kid who didn't want to go anymore. My grades dropped from straight A's to B's and C's. I would get so sad and frustrated that I would throw tantrums and destroy everything around me. The worst part, though, was not being able to tell anybody why I was so different. Admitting my condition publicly was bound to bring labeling by the schools, abandonment by my friends, and yet another thing to be bullied about. So we just kept it kind of quiet and kept pursuing different treatments to improve as many different things as we could. PE was my definition of torture because we are not a coordinated bunch of people. I'm usually the slowest person in my class. I tire extremely easily, and I'm the absolute opposite of a jock, stunning your looks aside. I don't know why everyone always loves that line. There must be an entire science dedicated to the feelings of being picked last for anything athletic. I can tell you for sure that being picked last gives a person the feeling of having zero athletic ability. It also makes you feel unpopular and uncool, especially when your social status in elementary school is dictated by how well you play soccer at recess. Although I may still have tics, be sensitive to lotions, I'm not always the most flexible, and still have trouble controlling the volume of my voice. I know that in the future, and I'm quite sure with more therapy, I can improve. Sarcasm, people, it helps! And it really helps to be optimistic, especially during the hardest of times. I'm now interested in multiple topics. I'm calmer, I've discovered my sense of humor, and I don't let people bully me. Oh, they try, but they don't succeed. This is the most applause I've ever gotten from a group. I love this. This is great. Give yourselves a round of applause. If you saw me 6 or 7 years ago, you wouldn't believe the difference. I'm a much happier, well-adjusted kid who loves to hang out with typical friends. Actually, I now prefer to hang out with my friends than to do schoolwork. I can assure you that no one saw that coming. That drives my mom crazy because I don't study how much, because I don't study no matter how much she yells. I just know she has study habit therapy lined up for me next. I didn't even know there was such a thing as study habit therapy. The friends I have are very special to me because they tolerate my idiosyncrasies and look past them to see the parts of me that are great. Anyone can be a bully or a friend to us. It's a decision that people have to make for themselves. And the proper information usually helps them make the right decision. Kids find it hard not to make fun of us, especially if they see others doing it. Look, we are different. But if the other kids can focus on what's good about us and appreciate, or if they have to ignore what's different, they usually discover that we make very good friends. That's because we know what a gift a good friend can be. You know, it wasn't fun being alone, eating lunch by myself, or never being invited to parties. No matter how smart and nice we are, it takes so much more to be successful in life. In fact, most Aspies are self-made and entrepreneurial. Did you know that both Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, the two richest men in the world, were both thought to have Asperger's? Other famous people thought to have or who had Asperger's are Vincent van Gogh, President Jefferson, Michelangelo, Mozart, Andy Warhol, Isaac Newton, and Albert Einstein, my hero. I am proud to say that to date, I can now throw and catch a baseball, trip, but not always fall down, run without flapping my arms, and actually converse about topics while actually asking questions instead of always talking. Who'd thunk it? I love to draw, and Aspies are very detail-oriented. So, I can and will, if my mom gets distracted, spend hours designing things like baseball stadiums, cars, and everyday products. The good part about hyperfocusing is that I design until I think it's as close to perfect as it can be. As a result, I now have a patent pending on a mechanical toothbrush that I designed. I've also improved my speech and stammering. I was elected to student government, and I'm the youngest member of my school's debate team, but oddly, my coach thinks I need to improve my speaking skills. Every year, I help my mom, and we plant a geranium garden, wearing gloves, of course. I hope you've learned something from our presentation today. You might even be compelled to do something about Asperger's, but you probably don't know what. Anyone can donate money or wear a ribbon, but you know what the best way to help is? Teach. Teach your students to be tolerant, be patient, be a friend. I hope that what you took from this was not, man, this kid can talk for a really long time, but I should probably teach my students about Asperger's. I would like to thank the URJ for inviting me to speak today, because awareness leads to tolerance. I would also like to thank I'm sorry, that was quite awkward, wasn't it? I would like to thank THANK Lisa Friedman from the URJ for tolerating because she has sat through my speech several times. And most of all, I would like to thank all of you in the audience, my largest audience yet, for sitting through the speech as well. Thank you and have a great day.